if I'm going a normal build, I don't get to see this debauchery. But I am. I see it. Ancient of War, keep track of the archer here. Let's cause some mayhem. So we're pulling this creep in. I think we get a little lucky here because look, we see the archer train and the archer gets netted. I see that my opponent has mana for a Stormbolt. So you can't get hit by it. You have to hide right there. If I don't hide right there, you know I'm getting Stormbolted and killed. So you gotta hide there, right? And then when I'm over here, I see I can now get the jump on you with Soulburn. Alrighty, so we are back with another video, and we're going to be focusing on some early aggression. You know we love some aggro games. We're going to get back into our favorite style of play, and let's start it with another human match, right? So we like human versus orc because it allows us to go grunt first. So you see here we're going my grunt first build. You're at 13 out of 21 food. That's when your first grunt comes out. It's also after this peon here is when your backpack happens, right? So backpack is researched. Once backpack is researched, this grunt has a mission, right? He's got to steal the Declaration of Independence, so to speak. This build usually goes for 2 grunts, but versus human, I'm not quite always sold it's going to be the paladin. So this is where you see this difference. Oh, peon actually, literally, never mind. You know why that peon dies? Because I need food for a grunt. There we go. Let's go. I needed food for a grunt and a hero, so we're doing it live. But check this out. So as that peon sacrifices himself nobly, this grunt is just harassing, you know, getting some little damage in, being annoying. And every time I annoy the human here, what am I actually doing? Well, I'm trying to get in position to take the item. I just need to be in front of the Archmage. Great. I have a high ground. I get the item. Bam. So part of the fun of the build is when you are able to not only with this grunt get an item, but with this grunt get a salve and a clarity, right? So now that things are going somewhat my way, where's the hero coming out? Ah, the Firelord. So Firelord then gets to have the claws of attack, gets to be reunited with this grunt, and we're going Lava Spawn. If you follow this channel a lot, you know I usually go Soulburn or Incinerate. But because I know my opponent has an Archmage and not a Paladin, I don't need to push the offensive. If you watch a lot of these Firelord first games, that's an early way to lose, is when you try to bully the Archmage when they already have the level advantage. It's already level 2, right? So instead, I go heavy on the item camps. Both of these turtle in the mid here, you know, I don't really care what my opponent is doing because I'm trying to be as greedy as well, right? Most of the time, if you're playing standard orc, how else am I going to compete with my opponent's super greedy expansion with the militia? Well, with 2 water elementals and a Firelord that's a lot stronger than you'd think from this stage of the game. The Firelord benefits a lot from items. Not the best creeping micro here. This poor grunt's taking some damage he shouldn't. But look, I do get the necessary number of attacks. I split, and now it is time for these elementals to get in some scouting. So I'm trying to see, what is my opponent doing? I should probably get some salves on these guys. I don't have the salves yet. But I see my human opponent. You were trying to expand. So we gotta send these grunts back and let's start the fight. Now I know we can hopefully get some footmen here. Looking back on this, right? Looking back on this, I as a player don't focus units enough. I was listening to Starbuck. And he was talking about how focusing units with orc is always pretty good when it's the small skirmishes, and he's right, because you have more HP on your units. I could kill his footman and there's no chance he kills my grunts there, but to go for the Archmage is just not a very good choice. And now I try to get for the unit, but it's already too late, so oh well, it's neither here nor there. We have a lot of grunts. Thankfully we haven't lost any grunts this game, which is always a good sign. Have to make use of this creeping. So part of why I never like to creep these early camps is because these are like your camps. They're the closest to your base, and they're like your safety camp. So you use them when you're healing, you use them when you have to retreat, so you can still keep the momentum. So you know my human opponent is expanding. I probably am aware my human opponent is expanding, and just, man, at this stage, I'm at the strongest I'm ever going to be. So you know what it is. Yes, now is the time we finish the game, because This is where the Firelord spikes. Meanwhile, my human opponent, you're still trying to get up that expansion now. This is a nice advantage situation, and my opponent, I think they rightfully just have to get out. Yeah. Now, I could have gotten more peasants there if I was more aggressive with my heroes, but I think the MVP of this game just comes with this wall of grunts, right? These are brute strength grunts. It's the most powerful they're going to be, and this range hero, if you're not having any a spirit wolves, it becomes actually kind of hard. What does the human attempts to kill? Like, you can't go toe to toe with the ranged heroes here. They just out spike you, and look at the incinerate damage. Ooh, nice. Incinerate doing so good against this militia. So that's GG, so much value. And I've recently been loving Lava Spawn more against Archmage. So GG, right? Gotta love all those fire elementals. But let's keep it going, right? We're trying to find the early... We're trying to win quick, right? We don't have that much time. So what games do we have? I can show you where... if you're trying to be like me, get some games in, ladder climb. We have some losses, but we can't watch them. No. 14, no. 724, that's pretty okay. 724, that's fast enough. It's another human, okay? Another human. Sub 7 minutes. So what's going on this game, right? We're going Farseer. Okay, I like it. So Farseer, and they're going Mountain King first. So, there's few heroes that fear each other more, but in different stages of the game. For example, the Farseer, not good, Tisatu to get so much damage there, but the Farseer really fears the Mountain King when he has like 6 footmen and 2 or 3 militia with him, because it's a Stormbolt instant kill. But there's this really annoying point in which the Mountain King is like exhausted the bolt, and maybe you have 1 bolt left, and maybe the Farseer has boots, and wow, you can harass the Mountain King so well with the Farseer. So let's see how it goes. My Mountain King opponent has already creeped his safe camp there, and now you're going for the expansion. You can just do so much damage. These Tide Warriors don't even have an opportunity to do any real damage. So instead, I'm also creeping. Cloak of Shadows, I believe, proves useful this game. We'll see how it goes. And I'm deciding to creep towards my opponent, Tried and true idea there. If you're going to be creeping, you're going to do it towards my opponent. And a little bit of indecision here by me, right? I'm like, am I going to kill the tower? No, I'm going to kill the peasant. Come on, peasant. Oh, ouch. Hit. So far, my Farseer creeping has been ineffective. How did I did get the footman kill, though. Nice. So I got a footman kill there with the Grunt and the burrow. And my Mountain King opponent has expanded. Don't have enough units for us around. And I think, yep, I hide here. So thankfully, I crept the Cloak of Shadows, so I'm able to, weather this storm and just do some free damage on the Mountain King here. But the front of his base is pretty well defended, so why should I be pushing here? Feeding experience to the Mountain King, not good. I'm just trying to get the footman deaths, but I noticed there's no shop. So every bit of damage I do here is permanent. I have a shop up, but no backpack. So if there's something I could already learn from this game, when I build a Voodoo Lounge and don't utilize it, it's kind of a weak state of the game. Ooh, good hide there. But what's my opponent doing? Of course, going to the Goblin Shop. So I know he's going to reveal, so I have to leave now, right? Because, my opponent's only human, so I have to leave now before that unlock reveal can really take shape. And he can do some damage, but there's also a time in which I can switch, right? Like, I am ranged. I see he doesn't have the mana. But yeah, this is a very tense micro situation, but we have to do it, right? We are playing an aggressive style orc. We know he has the expansion right there. So the wolves have to stay on the Mountain King, right? Just damage is great. And I'm back. No, I still don't have salve, but I am coming here to confirm this kill. Ooh, level 2. Confirmation, not bad. So look at this game. I finally need to go back home, right? Yes. Send the Spirit Wolves and the 2 healthy Grunts to contest this area. I like how I see the Arcane Vault there, and I know the Mountain King's low, so if I had to give myself props for this game, I like... Here, let's see what I'm doing here. So I'm healing my units here. I have this convoy healing, and I'm able to apply pressure with these units. So I think it's a good decision there to spawn the Spirit Wolves. Is his Mountain King going to die, though? I could have microed these Grunts a bit better. Now these Grunts are in a tough spot. I hope they can live. Okay, good, good, good. So the Grunts live. He's surrounding his own hero. That's safe, though. But the TP really gets Chain Lightning there. That even surprised me. I'm sitting there in his world, but no, the Chain Lightning out of nowhere. And now this is tough. So what's happening for my opponent now? Trying to rebuild, but it's tough. You didn't want to lose that Mountain King there. He was holding on, sweating the TP. At this point, I don't care that my mana is getting drained. I got Grunts, salving, and let's just chew on some peasants. Yeah, looks like my opponent taps out there. Yeah, GG. Makes sense. Level 3 is too brutal to deal with. Alright, so we like to see it. You know, we're pushing the opponent, so to speak. But let's continue, right? Let's see what other opportunities do we have to show you some quick games. Did I show you that one? Oh, that one was. This one's okay. Let's do another Firelord game, and then we'll do our quickest game. Save the best for last. I think it's a funny one. So we're going Barracks first again, right? Why are we going Barracks first? Because boy, do we love this Grunt opening. Now human, another Mountain King game. Okay, so you know what? I do understand the nerfs to Pally Rifle, but I don't think you need to abandon it just yet, human players. Now this is a different version of this strategy here. This is early Peon, so I don't have a late Firelord, right? So sometimes you have a late Firelord because you rely on the second Grunt, but I'm giving myself some ease here. Now the moment I see the Mountain King, look, the Grunt has to leave, right? You can't lose your Grunt here to a Stormbolt Surround, so that's quick and easy. But I'm also able to get my Firelord quickly because of the Peon here, so my micro is being split. But let's just disrupt this. Into the Soul Burn I like because he's just doing no damage and the creeps are on him. So yeah, already have annoyed. Now I think I could have killed that Ogre Magi. When I look back on this game, like, couldn't I have sniped it right there? Possible, right? Possibly could have sniped it. But we did just stop the Mountain King from doing what they wanted to do. So if you cannot bully the enemy hero with your Firelord and 2 Grunts, second best thing is to creep in front of their face, right? Because your other Grunt is bringing you the salves, right? So the backpack's online. Now this is the non-greedy build. You build 2 peons, so your wood's okay. Your tech's slower. This is a slower tech build. You know, you have the backpack, you have the 3 Grunts. Your slow tech, you pay for having this ability to disrupt. My opponent was so scared he didn't try to go for that again. Didn't quite scout me either. My opponent still hasn't scouted me. So I'm creeping elusively. And this elusive creeping, you see Soulburn there just to make it even easier. This creep does no damage. This elusive creeping not only nets me items, but they're like doubly good items on the value meter because they should have been going towards my opponent, right? I still have my creeps here. These are still mine. So if I have to TP, if I have to go home, I'm just going to creep them first. This is a really early game-oriented game. Early game-oriented strategy in which I'm essentially containing this Mountain King. When you're the Mountain King, you really have to be, like, aggressive because, uh-oh, I crept your creeps. This is not good. I think just seeing the Firelord and being a little disrupted and not being able to creep that, I think it really threw my opponent off guard, which is why we like these strategies. On the ladder, it can do that, and now let's go. I'm just a built tough. Now this is... I should have gotten punished here. I do have the Cloak of Shadows, but I think I remember my opponent gets off a nice surround. 4 Grunts versus this. You need to just kind of micro your Grunts better here. There's a lot of Grunts that aren't swinging. Yeah, like 2 Grunts need to choose a target. 2 Grunts per target. He could have got a surround there, my opponent, but thankfully the speed scroll gives me a little bit of play, and now I'm able to switch. Yeah, with a little Grunt blocking there. Where is your Mountain King going? Actually, nice Stormbolt, so you're able to save the situation. Now, if you are familiar with Firelord games, you often lose right there, but thankfully we have a little bit of... Now, watch this, guys. This is a Dota gameplay right now. I see that my opponent has mana for a Stormbolt, so you can't get hit by it. You have to hide right there. If I don't hide right there, you know I'm getting storm bolted and killed. So you gotta hide there, right? There's a little Dota mechanics, awareness, and then when I'm over here, I see I can now get the jump on you with Soulburn. Opponent gets that storm bolt instead, and I don't get the hide there. The like momentum shifts permanently. You definitely live there, Firelord. Yeah, Singe Slayer. This is always the bad position. This is the worst feeling when, okay, you get the TP, but like, what are you even working with? You know the opponent's going to come back any moment, and yeah, you better believe it. In hindsight, I should have only built one bestiary. Don't need to build two. Because I don't even have the resources to build a wyvern. One bestiary is sufficient, then I can immediately build one wyvern. The crushing death blow against any mountain king. Yeah, take out the rifleman because I have a bestiary. And this is it. This is, you know, these two heroes alone offer you a lot of utility that make just massing grunts possible. Like the Soulburn offers you silence, offers you damage mitigation. The Frost Arrow offers you some catch. You just dunk your gold into healing potions because you know this is going to be the death push. So you can trade there really sloppily, yeah? Love to see it. Some old head aggression. And now, come on. We have to keep our promise. Right? We have to keep our promise. Yeah, we had some angry people. We have to keep our promise. So here's just some aggressive games. This is when it goes right. Now you know how I feel about Night Elf players. So maybe we should watch it from their perspective. You know how I feel about Night Elf players that just do whatever they want when they creep. Like, look at this. Your race is able to creep this. You're going to immediately creep the Goblin Mert with this 900 HP tank. Ridiculous. I'm supposed to have the highest HP melee unit. This is an affront to grunts. 900 HP. Agent of War. So, of course, the Fun Police Grunt has to show what's really good. So we do have the backpack build. Grunt comes up, and look what happens here. So the Grunt is able to see this. If I'm going a normal build, I don't get to see this debauchery. But I am. I see it. Ancient of War. Keep track of the archer here. I think the archer train time is interesting. So I see this and I say, huh. You know what? I hope I don't get hit by the ice troll trapper. Let's cause some mayhem. So we're pulling this creep in. I think we get a little lucky here because look, we see the archer train and the archer gets netted. Now we already knew we were either going to get one of the creeps to get smacked by the tree, but the archer netted is good. But look, even unlucky. So you aggro this creep, he hits it. Now you have both creeps. For somehow both creeps are now attacking your ancient. This is rough. You get soul burned, and like this is how I prefer my Night Elf opponents. Ancient of War, cooked. Demon Hunter, negative 26 with a chance to do 23 damage. This is the level that I think it's so cool when it works out. When you're able to do a build like this, and yeah, just your whole build is a trading. There are very few heroes that can just trade with the Demon Hunter better than level 1 Firelord. By the way, needed to get that mana burn. Very important I get the soul burn before he gets the mana burn because I needed that trade. And at this point, I now have the salve and the speed scroll, which is, I mean, how painful is it that you have to watch the grunt getting salved in front of your face? You have to stop it, right? Nah, you just get a lot of damage. So that's a tap out coming soon, yeah. Less than 3 minutes 40. Love it. Yeah, so you know, Night Elf has been killing me lately, and my only like refuge, my only safe space is when you have a game like this, right? My only safe space is when it goes quickly. So hey, if you like this video, thank you so much. Subscribe. We're going to be having a whole fresh batch of videos coming through, but boy, I really gotta improve 2 matchups in order to get out of this 1400 MMR jail. I peaked at like 1456, I think, and then, you know, late night playing, wants to play Alchemist, Tinker, you know how it happens, guys. Anyways, see you later. Nick Oldhead out.